Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 21 of the Sound of Sergey podcast. I am truly content, purely joyful in my soul. It sounds like I'm being sarcastic. I literally am not. I'm actually very happy to be recording. I found the joy. I found the good. I found the happiness and contentment that comes to my person when I record a new episode of this podcast. But before I say another word, before another syllable escapes my mouth, I want you to picture something for me. I want you to picture this. In your mind's eye, in your imagination, whatever. Even close your eyes if that helps. Not if you're driving. Be smart. Don't be dumb. Don't close your eyes while you're driving. Many of you listen to this podcast and you drive. And many of you listen to this podcast and you cry. You are in tears when you listen to this for one reason or the other. You're crying. You're bawling your eyes out. Many people, not going to name names, but many people listen to this podcast and they're angry. They listen to this podcast and they are furious. Their blood boils. They're fuming. Steam is coming from their ears whenever they listen to an episode of this podcast. They can't handle it. And I don't know if this is true. I like to think so. It makes me feel better about myself for sure. But, in the end, I think this probably is the case. I think it is because they're jealous of what this is. And I'm not even saying that as in, oh, look at me, I'm so successful, I'm making millions of dollars. I don't even mean that. They're jealous of the fact that I'm just sitting here having fun, enjoying myself. Because you got to think about, put yourself in the mind of someone who listened to this and is angry. I mean, they are fuming. They don't know how to handle the fact that someone is doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Because many of these people, their whole lives, every day, they wake up 5 minutes before class and they roll the slab of meat that they call their body, slowly evaporating, disintegrating, and expiring, losing it to time. They roll that slab of meat out of bed and they walk over to their closet to choose what they think is the perfect outfit, which in their minds is the combination of sweatpants and pajamas. They pick that out. They take the 8 different SSRIs that they've been prescribed to keep them from committing some sort of mass crime. They take the 8 different SSRIs. They walk down the stairs and they walk out the door and they walk to class. And their lives are failing. They're aimless. They're without a goal. They don't have a purpose, which is sad. I feel bad for them. I want them to have a purpose. I want them to do something great. But they're not. They're walking aimlessly into the void and they don't have any plans. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with themselves. They have a panic attack if they choose what apples they buy at the grocery store. They don't know how to handle life. They're aimless. They can't function in reality. So when they go out living that life and they see a guy like me just having fun, just doing what I want to do, they cannot take it. Their mind goes into, it doesn't compute. It's like a foreign language. They don't understand that concept. It's like a mathematical equation that they don't know the answer to. Pieces are missing. They aren't able to comprehend the fact that someone can do something and enjoy themselves and have a decent life and sit there and be content within their soul. They're not able to, it's not something that computes with their brain. It doesn't mesh with their soul. They don't know what that is. And so because of that, they get jealous and they get hateful and they get bitter and they resent it. And that's what happens when people listen and they hate this podcast. And the best part is I have a simple, effective solution. If that is your predicament, dear listener, if that is your predicament, if you don't like something that I say, if you don't like my personality, if you don't agree with my views, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, if you don't agree with the basic fact that I'm having fun and doing what I want to do and enjoying myself, here's my simple solution. On the Spotify app, there is an icon and it looks like 2 vertical lines, 2 lines going up and down. They're right next to each other. That's called a pause button. When you press that, it pauses. Likewise, there's a button on the top of the screen, and it looks like two arrows converging with each other at an angle. That's called an exit button. The simple solution that I have for you is, if you don't like what I say, if you don't like this podcast, you can press that pause button with the two vertical lines, and then proceed to press the two intersecting lines at an angle, the exit button. And you can simply put your phone away and listen to something else. Spotify has millions of songs. They have millions of hours of content. They have the Joe Rogan Experience. They've got Whitney. They've got everything that you want. So if you don't want to listen to me, listen to something else. All that in a roundabout way to basically convey to you that I want you to picture this in your mind's eye. Use your imagination. Like Barney told you when you were a kid. Use your imagination. Picture this. Visualize it. It's dark. It's a Wednesday night. It's kind of cold. It's kind of chilly. It's very humid. It's just rained. At least once a week, me and my friends, we go out and we try and do something together, usually at Great American Donut Store, the beautiful American establishment in Bowling Green, Kentucky, on US 31 West Bypass, the best donut store in the planet. They know what's up. They know what to do. We go there once or twice a week, usually once a week. We go there. It's our hangout spot. We have a good time. We talk. We laugh it up. We get to know each other. We have a good time. We make memories. They've got great donuts. So on this Wednesday night, I'm picking up my 3 friends to go to Great American Donut Store, and we go there. We have a great time as always. It's about 9 p.m. After this, I need to drop them off to their dorms because they live much further than I do. It's not effective for me to park in my parking garage and them to walk. It's much easier if I just drop them off at their dorm hall and then I park separately and go back. So what happens in the layout of Western Kentucky University is this. I drop them off at Douglas Keene Hall and I drive around and I go to the roundabout, which is a circle. So here's what is happening. Remember, dark, just rained, cold, chilly, low visibility. Just rained. It's sort of slick. It's sort of coating everything, at least with a thin veneer of the slickness and grease from the previous rain. So it's not bad, but you still need to watch out at least a little bit. I'm driving. I'm perfectly paying attention to the road. And I'm coming to a complete stop at this roundabout. And I'm yielding to the next person. I slow down. I come to a complete stop slowly and safely. I'm completely stopped, waiting my turn. And then from behind me, swiftly approaching, I see a small red truck. Not a big one, a small red truck, like from the 90s. Those pathetic ones that look like someone shriveling away. A small red truck. I see it swiftly, quickly, speedily approaching. And what I felt at that moment was, and it was like, whoa, what's going on? I was jerked forward suddenly. Then immediately, just jerked back. Like, whoa, what's going on? Hit my head a little on the back of the seat, but that's nothing. I sat there. I've got a little bit of a headache. What is going on? I'm thinking to myself, what just happened? Then I think that for a little bit, and then suddenly things become clear. Things become crystallized. I understand what happened. I think to myself, oh, I've just been hit. Somebody has just crashed into me. And that's ironic because usually I'm the one doing that. But I'm thinking to myself, oh man. I'm thinking this is just gonna be a whole big problem. What am I gonna? I don't want to have to take this in, get it repaired. How am I gonna get to where I need to go? Because I'm not at home. I'm gonna have to borrow a friend's car, which is this whole big hat. I don't even know what's gonna happen. So I'm just thinking to myself, man, this sucks. I put it in park, and I exit the vehicle, and not immediately, she was quite slow, and well, I'll tell you why. Slowly, this person exits the truck. And like these people would, they don't ask, hey, are you okay? I know I crashed into you. They don't ask, hey, are you okay? They immediately begin looking at the damage to their crappy, disgusting failure of a vehicle. They begin immediately looking at that. And again, there is no damage. Because, I mean, like, the only damage that it could be done is your reputation for being seen driving this hunk of junk. So she gets out. She's wearing a wife beater, jean shorts, Crocs, holding a green water bottle, and she's on meth. It is clear. Like, there's no question about it. And she's on meth, and I can tell because she has the jaw. And people say it doesn't exist, but it does. It's the meth jaw, and you know because it goes outward. It's like meh, 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 meh. It's like they make that sound. There's the meth jaw. It exists. It's a real thing. And after inspecting her tin can of a vehicle for about 30 seconds or so, she then turns to me, does not ask how I'm doing, does not ask if there's damage to my car, turns to me and says, there's no damage on your car. And I'm like, how about I be the judge of that? And again, she's on drugs. She's on meth. It was clearly her fault. I don't know what. She doesn't even try to make an excuse. She just goes, oh, there's no damage to your car. And I can see she's slowly trying to like distract me so she can just like get away and just like drive off. I'm like, stay out here. So she takes the Marlboro cigarette out of her mouth after she's already done meth. She's jittery. She looks like she's like dying right now. I should be asking her if she's okay. And she's like, all right, there's no damage to your car. And then I look, I mean, she's right. There is no damage. So she just looks at me and I go, wait, is there damage to your truck? And I look and there's a big giant dent in the grill of her trunk. And I go, is that from that? And she goes, oh, no. That was my son. He got drunk once with the DUI and hit it. And that's what that's from. And so I'm just standing there dumbfounded. This woman on drugs has crashed into me with this hunk of junk 1991 red pickup truck that looks like it belongs in a dump. It's horrendous. It is truly, she should be arrested for owning that vehicle. It's tragic. It's historically bad. And so I'm standing there looking at her dead in the face as she's on drugs, and she just gets in her truck and drives away. And I'm just like, what can you do? And I just park in the garage and I just go home. I had a splitting headache for the rest of the night. And that is the first hit and run that I've technically been a part of where I was the one crashed into. I was the one who was crashed into in this hit and run from this woman who is on meth, dying in this horrendous piece of garbage that she calls her vehicle, that she dumps her ashtrays into. And I say all this because I want this to be a teaching point. Because I want you to realize drugs are bad. There's a lot of movements to legalize certain drugs, and in many ways, I'm for that. I believe in the legalization of a lot of drugs. I just got a Snapchat. Whoever this is, I'm going to destroy them. Oh, no, never mind. He's cool. What I'm trying to say is drugs are bad. Some drugs are not that bad. Some drugs like meth are bad. Some drugs like meth give you the meth jar. You look at like a dying bird. That's the meth jaw. That's the sound that people on meth make. And they wear wife beaters and they go driving, dump their ashtrays into the car, crash into people, and then do hit and runs, and then drive away, never to be seen ever again in the history of mankind. So that's why I'm saying, say no to drugs. If they just told that story, if this episode is played to the 5th graders at middle schools, to the 5th graders in the schools that you're doing DARE to, if you just tell this story, they will stay off drugs for all time. Because I would hope, I would pray that no human being wants to be that woman right there in that situation, hitting poor me in the street when I was being safe and she was on meth. That being said, Welcome to episode 21 of The Sound of Sergey. That was a 15-minute intro. Dude, I keep saying this. I tell this to everyone, and people don't believe me. I've communicated, because it's always public speaking teachers, which they've done nothing. They've done nothing in their life to deserve a public speaking position. I was literally on TV. I was on broadcast radio. I had a job. I was what you might call a professional. And they waxed lyrical about all the meaning and the rhetoric and the and it's like they're trying to sell their life as if they mean something important. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, hey, I'm going to tell you something right now. 90% of doing a talk show, 90% of lectures, 90% of all of that is filling time. And I mean that, and I'm serious. 90% of that is sitting there. What can fill up 30 minutes what bile can I spew into a microphone for 30 minutes that people will buy? And I'm not selling this. I'm giving you a quality product. I'm talking about it from their point of view. What piece of bile and sewage can I sell to poor, tax-paying, hard-working, blue-collar Americans? That's what they're thinking. That's what they're thinking. Meanwhile, I just told a 15-minute story about how to not be a hater and a woman who was on meth who crashed into me at night. And hopefully that gave you some joy. Now, that being said, welcome to episode 21 of The Sound of Sergey. It is great to be here. I'm recording this on 4/20/2022, April 20th, 2022, Weed Day. And if you don't think that it's clear, like if you didn't know, you would know after stepping outside for about 3 seconds. Because it is 420, it is 420 day, and the smell of the big, dank, powerful green bean is prevalent. It is everywhere. It's in every crack, crevice, nook, cranny. It's inescapable. It's everywhere. It's surrounding you like magic. It's like when it rains and it's humid in the summer and it's hot, and the moisture, the sticky wetness is surrounding you and it sticks to your wet flesh. And it's sticking there and you can't get rid of it. You can never escape it. That's the smell. The smell, it's seeping everywhere. It's strong. It's powerful. That's sickly sweet. It's seeping into the cloth seats of your car. It's staying there. It's not leaving. It's staying into your clothes. It's staying into your car, and you're going to drive home on the weekend and visit your family. And your mom's going to, what is that smell? And you're like, oh, nothing, Mom. And you won't even have to smoke the weed. You can just be an innocent bystander. You can just get secondhand smoke, and it's so prevalent. It's everywhere. It's seeping into everything that you can just drive out, walk out, open your door, and it's clear. It seeps onto you like COVID. The way that COVID stuck onto everything. It's sticking to surfaces. You've got to wash your groceries. You got to use hand sanitizer. Nothing can get rid of the smell. It's like a skunk spraying. It's all encompassing. You cannot escape it. And that is the tone. That is what it is like on 4/20, April 20th, 2022, as I'm recording episode 21 of The Sound of Sergey. So, thank you for tuning in. And it's not over yet. I know I usually wait to the very end before I say thank you for tuning in, but I mean that because I'm thankful. I'm truly happy that you're listening and not trying to kill me, because many people who listen to this would like to do so. But I've already said my spiel on that. There's no need to go back and revisit that again. Recording this on 4/20, great day. It's a very good day. And what I've been thinking about lately, this is the meat and potatoes of this episode, by the way. What I've been thinking about lately is Tinder. And I'll tell you why. What I've been thinking about lately is Tinder and Bumble, comparing the two. Because they're both in the same market, basically trying to compete for the same position. And here's what I think. Tinder is like McDonald's, Bumble is Burger King. Here's what I mean by that. Bumble advertises itself as a feminist dating app. We're gearing this towards women, which, false, by the way, false. Only men go on Bumble. and they're having the worst ads on. They're advertising on Snapchat. That's how I first heard about it. They're advertising on Snapchat, advertising a feminist dating app, which is provably false, advertising themselves in that way. And I can only imagine you're on Bumble to find your next human trafficking victim. Because that is like the safety, or be human trafficked. I've been on there once or twice and I felt unsafe. The chick was like, do you want to meet up? And I'm like, no, because your meetup spot is going to be behind Red's Donuts. I don't want any part of that. That's why it's not safe. I can't imagine meeting up with someone on Bumble and not ending up in Abu Ghraib, because it's just not safe. I don't consider it to be safe. At this point, you might as well go on Craigslist. Truly, you might as well. Now, compare that with Tinder. In many ways, basically all the problems that I see in Bumble, Tinder has ironed out and is not a problem. It's not a factor. And in fact, for the most part, I think Tinder gets pretty much everything it does pretty much right. Now, simultaneously, it is a house of horrors the likes of which mankind has never seen. Those two aren't mutually exclusive. Tinder is a landscape that humans aren't evolutionarily prepared for. They don't know how to it's like if you gave like cavemen an atomic bomb. They're not ready for that. They're not evolved enough for it. Humanity is not evolved enough for the Tinder app. Which is, by the way, one of my big problems with dating apps in general. People just aren't good at that. I literally just think our society is not evolved enough to handle maturely using a dating app. And the people who are, they're smart enough to not go on a dating app. Here's what I mean by that. This is a problem with the format of online dating and dating apps in general. And I'm literally serious when I mean this. I mean this 100% sincerely, head on the pillow at night, hand on my heart. One of the biggest problems. Well, to start with the good things, I think it's opened up a lot of opportunities to meet people that you never would have met in the first place. And I think overall, that's a good thing. The more people you can meet, the more options you have, the better. Now, simultaneously, in that same way, it has basically put the consequences of dating to zero. Like, I literally mean that. I mean, because you will go on Tinder, be messaging someone. This is for guys and girls. This is for everyone, all genders, everything. You will be messaging someone and one day they just stop. Because what reason do they have to stay? There's literally infinite possibilities. You can literally cherry pick every single person you want. There's zero consequences. You haven't even seen them. You haven't even seen them in person 99% of the time. So, of course, there's no consequences. That's one of the problems. Catfishing is almost a given. Like, at this point, you just literally expect that you're going to get catfished to some degree. I've been there with my male friends who've been swiping, and they see, hey, there's this chick who's attractive. They seem nice. And like on the scale, oh, she's an 8. They literally say to me in their minds, they have to go, oh, well, if on here it's an 8, in real life she's probably going to be a 6 or so. I've been there with my male friend. I've been there with my female friends when they do that, where they've literally seen someone and they have to do the mental mathematics. They have to think within their minds, whatever they're at now, take it down by 1 or 2 points. That's what they're going to be like in real life. Catfishing is just a given. That's something that is not even a factor when you're meeting someone in person. This is for Tinder and Bumble, by the way. I'd imagine Grindr too. Because there's just I literally think this. I think they should have to put your photos through an algorithm, because these exist. They are real, where they can detect Photoshop. Those are real algorithms. You can do it right now with any image. They're online. You can put an image through a Photoshop detecting algorithm. I think every single image on any dating app should have to go through that. Enough with just the verification where you have to do a little peace sign and send it into the database that goes to some Chinese sweatshop. Enough with that. Literally put it through the algorithm. Test it that way. I cannot tell you the amount of times. This is the only thing, in my opinion, Tinder does wrong. The only thing that I think Tinder is missing is I think they are missing the ability to hear the person's voice. That's the biggest thing that I think they're missing out on. They should add a feature where you can say a sentence and people hear your voice and upload it, so you can listen to the person's voice when you're swiping. Because the amount of times I've been on Tinder and I've seen a chick and she's attractive, her bio is great, she seems fun, we have similar interests, and I've DM'd her and we get to talking and the conversation is great. We set up a time to meet to go on a physical in-person date. I drive all the way there, I meet her, and she sounds like Bobby Hill from King of the Hill. I've gone there, and she's like, "Hey, are you Sergey?" And I'm like, "Ugh," and I have to like think, how can I avoid this? And I'll just be on the day, and I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. I might be 30 or 40 minutes, so if I don't come back within an hour, don't be surprised. And just I have to leave, and listen, I can't handle that. I'm very sensitive about that. Some people, they don't care. Some people, they don't care what the person's voice sounds like. To me, that's the one thing it's missing. Because to me, that's very important. I can't be with someone who sounds like they smoke 8 packs a day, and by the way, probably does. So, I don't want to be with someone who sounds like Alex Jones. I won't go on a date with a woman, even if she's super attractive. I won't go on a date with someone who's like, "Hey, you, Sergey," even on, because there are so many women who are like that. So many. And I'm not even hating on them. They're great. But I'm just saying I don't want to swipe right on them. And if Tinder added that feature, that would be great. Now, Bumble isn't any better. I mean this when I say it. And from the bottom of my heart, this is what happened. I was at home over Christmas break and I found someone on Bumble. Her name was Octavia. She looked attractive enough and she seemed cool, and I swiped, and literally within 30 seconds, the first thing she does is she messages me and says, "What would you do if the world was ending?" And I looked at that text and immediately I just deleted the app. What does that even mean? Like, that's the worst. It's not even that it's weird or it's creepy. It's just like, really, that of all the things, you want to talk about first impressions, the first thing you say, that's what you got. Like, at that point, she may as well have been like, "What do you think? Do you think America is a failed state?" By the way, answer is yes. But it's like, what should I ask? Should they have just been like, did you vote for Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Would you push the nuclear button if you had the chance? Would you jump out a window if your pastor told you to? It's like, and it's just a waste of real estate in the conversation game. That's why I exited off and deleted the app. If that's what I'm going to, like, I don't want to answer that. Who cares? It's like, I don't even know why you're asking that. What is that even, like, what do you want me to say? What would you do, Mr. Ivanov? What would you do if the world was ending in 10 minutes and you had 10 minutes to do something before the world exploded in a nuclear explosion? And I'm like, I'd go on a date with you and give you all my, is that what you want? Is that the answer you're looking for? Is that why you're asking? I'm not going to answer. That's dumb. And so I swiped. She was kind of creepy. One of her images was her with like a skull on her face. And I'm like, I don't know, like an animal skull, not a human skull, an animal skull mask. Like she's filming an episode of Marble Hornets in 2009. I'm like, what is going on? I don't want a part of this. I'm a little creeped out. Delete the app. That's what I mean by Bumble is no better than Tinder. Now, one of my other issues with dating apps in general is this. The great Bill Burr, I think this was on his podcast or in stand-up where he said women have no game because, they don't need to. Men are dumb, simple, visual animals. I admit every man will admit that as well. So, in a way, like, do women have game? No, they don't need to. Why would they? Here's the problem, is when they go on Tinder, you have to have game. Because in a format where everything you say counts, and the value of looks is decreased, and the value of your conversation and text and your bio and your interests is increased, game becomes all the more important. And people's game is bad all around. I'm opening up the Tinder app. I'm going to read through some of the things that I'm seeing right now. The first thing I see is if you're a country boy, this is someone's profile. If you're a country boy, wear your hat backwards and wear a chain, you need to swipe right. Smiley face. I only apply to one of those. I do wear a chain, the famed gold chain necklace from episode 18 of The Sound of Sir. I do wear a gold chain. That's not from me, though. She doesn't even have a bio. That's another thing. People need bios. You gotta have a bio. Also, there's like just some things that you shouldn't put in a bio and some things that you just shouldn't be on a dating app. This woman says, I should include that I'm 5'10". Okay, I don't care. Yep, no bio. I'm a whiskey drinking, cowboy chasing, one hell of a time. Okay, so you're an alcoholic. What? And by the way, these are not curated. I didn't go in and find the worst one. I'm literally on the app right now and at random, one after the other, seeing these. Literally, all I've done is I have in my own preferences, my own interests and hobbies, and I've put in the age range of 18 to 22 because as much as I truly would like to, I don't need to be going on dates with 35-year-old women. That will end in tragedy and disaster. That will not be good. So that's literally all I've done. I've put in my own preferences and just a basic age range, the basic normal age range. That's all I've done, and I'm just reading these bios as they are. Someone's bio is just their name repeated. No bio. I've had blue hair. Proceed with caution. That's all I need to know, X. This woman is writing a novel in here. I don't need that. That's another thing. People will literally go, I'll see things in people's bios that don't even make sense. Like they say that and I'm like, well, why are you even on the app? That literally doesn't make sense why you'd be on the Tinder dating app. Like okay, how about this? For example, I'll go on Tinder and people will have bios. It was like, I'm just looking for friends. Just here to make friends. And it's like, why are you on a dating app? I wouldn't go into McDonald's and ask if I can borrow a book from the library because I'm at McDonald's. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go to the DMV and ask for a cheeseburger. They'd look at me and be like, you're insane. How ruined is our society? And I mean this. And I hate the people. I don't even like the people who are like, our society is going down. Blah, blah, blah. I don't even care. Because usually 99% of the time they're dumb and they're wrong. But literally, I mean this. How ruined is our society? I'm just on here to make friends. Then go outside. There's 1 million people. This college campus has 20,000 people here. Go outside. Make friends. Can you not go up to someone and be like, hey, my name is... Like, what? How destroyed is the populace of America right now? People can't even... People need dating apps to make friends. People can't even go outside to make friends. How destroyed is our society? My heart breaks for America. It really does. So that's the thing about dating apps. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I've been on dating apps. I've met great people. I've met horrible people. I've met people who make me happy. I've met people who steal gold chain necklaces. And I met people who... Still to this day, I walk past them and they give me a stank eye. Or I walk past them and I'm like, I need to escape for a couple days. And this is I just want to be out of their realm. So here's the thing. Everyone gets on to me for being negative. I'm going to increase a positive. Do I think dating apps are good? Overall, you know what? I think they are good. It's literally just a different format of what people were doing for thousands of years anyway. People were reading books, then they made movies. People were making movies, then they made TikTok. Same thing. People were going out caveman times and finding women to mate with. Then people started going on dates. Then people started going on Tinder. Same thing. It's just an evolution of humanity. That being said, Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 21 of The Sound of Sergey. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me your time and paying attention to my dumb thoughts and hot takes. Thank you so much. It means the world to me that you care. I love each and every one of you. Well, 99% of you. The 1% of you, the slabs of meat out there, those people that I mentioned in the first part, whatever. I don't care. But 99% of you, I love you to death. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next episode.